the Woodlands, Texas. It's been considered one of the top 10 places in the entire nation to live over the last decade, as well as 3 times in the #1 spot, according to niche.com.
It's kind of a big deal.
A smart asset study shows that the Woodlands has the 24th best job market in the nation, and according to Money Magazine, it's projected to have the 3rd largest job growth over the next 6 years. So because of these factors and so many others, the Woodlands is a popular place that's becoming more popular and more populated. But if you're thinking of moving here, there's a few things that you need to know first. Hi, I'm Jeff with Jeff West Properties, your host for the Conroe Living Channel, where we identify and celebrate everything that makes Conroe, Texas, and the greater Montgomery County area one of the fastest growing areas in the nation, as well as one of the best places in the nation to live. In this video, I want to share with you 5 things you need to know before moving to the Woodlands.
Let's go!
Number 1, the schools here are incredibly competitive. Now, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you see it, but it is important to note. Niche.com has the Woodlands High School rated as the 40th best high school in the state, and U.S. News & World Report has it rated at 133. Now, there's a big discrepancy between those numbers, but either way, it's in the upper echelon of schools. There are 1,800 high schools in the state of Texas. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Texas, pretty big place.
It's this whole other country.
Now, I want to break down the ratings so you can see all the factors that go into its ranking, because some of those factors may be more important to you than others. According to U.S. News & World Report, the average SAT score in the Woodlands High School is 1216, and the average ACT score is 27. You also have a graduation rate there of 96%, and all of these things are far above the state average. But here's a statistic that really jumps out. 53% of the enrolled students are in advanced placement classes. Now, these are classes that are designed by the College Board to give high school students college credit even before enrolling in college.
Well, then you're way ahead of the game already, aren't you?
Now, this is an important factor to note, because if your goal is to get your kids into a prestigious college or get an academic scholarship, then class ranking really matters. So if the goal is to get your child into the top 10, the top 5% of their graduating class, become the valedictorian, whatever your goals are, it becomes much more difficult when you're in such a competitive environment as the Woodlands High School is.
Enormous pressure to achieve at such a high level.
Now, the Woodlands is in the Conroe Independent School District, which is one of the highest rated school districts in the state. As well as the Woodlands High School, you also have schools like College Park and Grand Oaks, which are also competitive, maybe not as much. So if you're thinking of moving to the area, you definitely want to check out what schools that house is going to be zoned to.
That's your competition.
Number 2 thing to know, prepare to get lost. The Woodlands, by design, is a forest that people live in, and the township takes the forestry very, very seriously.
Trees are people too! Save this tree!
According to the Woodlands Residential Development Standards, careful attention has been paid to the ecology with emphasis on preserving natural vegetation for future generations to come. You've got green belts that surround all the neighborhoods to shield them from the noise and traffic.
Trees and trees, and then more trees on top of that.
As a homeowner, you're not allowed to remove any trees from your property without a permit, and those are usually only issued in event of hazard. Now, it's already heavily forested, but in 2024, the Woodlands invested $1 million to the forestation project to plant even more trees. Now, the average tree size in the Woodlands is 16 feet high.
Oh, man, wow. Crazy how tall these trees are.
So as you're going through the community, you are surrounded by not only trees, but tall trees around every major intersection in the community. Now, one of the biggest complaints I get from new residents of the Woodlands is how hard it is to find everything. You're just driving along through a forest, and if you blink, you miss your turn. This isn't just true for finding houses. You can also lose grocery stores and strip centers in the forest. Now, if you're planning on moving to the Woodlands, my encouragement to you is to get to know the entire layout of the area and really follow that GPS closely, because if you blink, you'll miss your turn. Here's a pro tip. When you're getting close to the area you need to turn, make sure to turn down your radio, because as we all know, turning down your radio helps you to see better.
Turn down for what?
Speaking of roads, if you're going to move to the Woodlands, be prepared to be in traffic. Now, in its inception, the Woodlands was a very easy community to get in and out of right along Interstate 45. When George Mitchell developed the Woodlands in 1974, he created the neighborhood of Grogan's Mill, which is right there at the I-45 corridor. But as the Woodlands continued to grow, it kept growing westward, farther and farther away from the interstate.
Representing West Side.
Now, early on, the Woodlands Parkway was the only main thoroughfare through the community, but as it continued to grow, other main streets were put in to help with traffic and congestion. Over the years, there's also been construction projects to widen these roads to help with congestion. but it's just not enough. According to the Texas A&M Transportation Institute, the Woodlands has 10 of the most congested roadways in the entire state.
Creating traffic nightmares.
That means when you're looking at the entire greater Houston area, about 1 in 3 of the most congested roads are found in the Woodlands.
Another night, another traffic jam.
Another pro tip to make you feel like a local, this street is pronounced Kirkendall. Kirkendall. Nobody knows why. So if you're planning on moving to the Woodlands, especially in the middle to the western side, just make sure to bring some extra patience. And whatever you do, do not miss your turn.
Kids, Big Ben, Parliament again.
The fourth thing about the Woodlands you need to know the rules of the lake. Lake Woodlands is one of the most prominent features in the Woodlands community. I remember all the way back in we had something called the Bottom of the Lake Festival. At the time, Lake Woodlands was just a big hole in the ground. So they had this festival to christen it. They had rides and games and monster trucks. I remember I was a little kid and I saw Bigfoot for the first time, which was really, really loud. The famous Woodlands Loch Ness monster thingy that's found in the lake at the time was just 4 posts in the ground. Today, Lake Woodlands is a beautiful recreational lake surrounded by million-dollar homes and high-end shopping centers. And if you've always had a dream of living on the lake, to be able to walk out your back door, over to your boat slip, to jump in your pontoon boat or your bass boat,
How about no?
You're out of luck. Lake Woodlands does not allow any motorized watercraft, so you're limited in what you can use there to things like kayaks and canoes, paddle boats, and rowboats. And here's something cool. If you're interested in rowing, if it's something that you do or want to do, you can go and join the Woodlands Rowing Club, which operates out of North Shore Park. North Shore also has a free boat launch, so you can take your kayaks, your canoes, and launch straight from North Shore Park. If you don't want to carry your boat around, they also have storage for a monthly fee where you can leave it there. That way you don't have to go through the pain of strapping it to your car or taking up space in your garage. You can just take it out of storage, grab it, and go.
I didn't load a kayak.
The fifth thing you need to know about the Woodlands is getting up there in age. The Woodlands in 2024 just celebrated its 50th anniversary. The first development of the Woodlands was all the way back in 1974, where the village of Grogan's Mill was created. As the Woodlands continued to develop, the Woodlands Corporation developed more villages to help the development. I said development so many times in that sentence. So anyway, more and more development happened in the Woodlands as it continued to push westward. And the last village that was created was in 2007. That was Creekside Park. Since Creekside, there has not been a lot of building in the Woodlands, which when you factor all of these communities together, makes the average age of a home in the Woodlands 25 years old, and the median age of when it was built as 1999. Like it's 1999. So all the way back in the 1900s, which is a great way to refer to it if you want to feel really, really old. Now, because of my YouTube channel, a large percentage of my real estate business is relocations from other places, especially other places in the nation where people are coming to look for a better quality of life, and they target places like the Woodlands. Now, one of the problems with that is so many of my clients come here wanting a shiny brand new house, especially with today's real estate market where incentives for new homes almost make it a better buy than buying a resale home. There's just one problem with that. There's no space left for new construction. Everything has already been built out in the Woodlands. There's very little opportunity for development. Unless you have like millions of dollars, there's a few opportunities in prestigious places like Carlton Woods where you can buy a lot. But for the most part, you're not getting new construction unless you've got a whole lot of money to spend, and you should definitely call me if you do. Now, I will say, because the Woodlands is both old and affluent, you do find a lot of gut jobs. You find places like Grogan's Mill where a lot of the houses are torn down and renovated. So if you're okay with a house with 50-year-old bones, but in every other way it's pretty much a new house, there are opportunities.
I say we rebuild.
But if you're looking for a brand new house and a brand new development, if you're looking to live on the lake and take your kids out water skiing, you're not going to be able to find it in the Woodlands. But luckily, the rest of Montgomery County is forested very much like the Woodlands, and a lot of these communities are taking their cue from the Woodlands because it's so popular. So there are a lot of opportunities in the rest of Montgomery County to be close to the shopping of the Woodlands and have the same lifestyle of the Woodlands, just not be in the Woodland zip codes. We're talking places like Magnolia, Conroe, Montgomery, Willis, Porter, all touched by the Piney Woods region and all with new developments that are going in. In fact, one of the main factors that's making up so much of the growth happening all over Montgomery County is people starting with the Woodlands and branching out. But even though a lot of these communities are mimicking what the Woodlands does, there's still really no place like it for the schools, the jobs, the shopping, the recreation. Woodlands is in a class of its own. There's really no other place like it. Now, if you're doing your research on the Woodlands area, the greater Montgomery County area, and you need some help, just pick up the phone, give me a call, text, or email. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm a realtor and a Conroe Woodlands native who has helped people from literally all over the world relocate to become proud Texans in Montgomery County. Another way you can learn more about the area is to subscribe to the Conroe Living Channel, where we focus on greater Montgomery County area and all that makes up the DNA, the heartbeat of one of the fastest growing areas in the nation, as well as one of the best places to live. And if you want to keep going down that rabbit hole, check this video out.